Boneman, Part 9. That will be enough of that. It doesn't do you any good anyhow. The voice, muffled by the mask, shakes Nolan from the suffering he feels. We have little time, so let's make the best of it, and skip the usual introductory questions. What's happening is that I have extended your existence at the precise moment of your death. Nolan feels a hand of cold steel grab his leg and wrench him from the air, as if he were a ripe apple from a low-hanging branch. His feet on the ground, he can feel the splinters of bones as they grind the meat in the skin. "That's better," the stranger says with a quaint tone. Nolan can hear his smile in his voice. "Who I am is not important. However, what I can do is." The stranger with a black hood, with dangling feathers and beads of bone, moves around Angie's inhumanly twisted body. "It's a shame. She was so pretty," he says, pushing a jelly bulb of blood from his face as it levitates. Nolan, half draped upon his own frame, follows the stranger's movement. "Such tragedy of youth. None of you deserve this. Not a bastard among you. Still spiritually innocent. Good, kind souls, every one." The stranger points now, and Nolan follows to see his friends tossed about. Digger beneath the wheel, his head was split like an egg, exploding a yolk of brain across the black pavement. He can see the car as it resolves. Backwards, Joshua, the first to find his end caught by the broken glass, torn open, his entrails spiral around him in the effect of some demented spirograph. The car, phantom in time, passes through Nolan as he watches in horror his brother thrown up and backwards, his head cracking upon the roof of the car. You can hear him moan in anguish, laying with his spine severed. Yes, he is. But not for long. The man or creature, answers Nolan's distressed thoughts. As he turns his attention to the car, as it sits in the ditch tilted sharply, Nolan touches Angie's hand, trying to feel her warmth, feeling only broken fingers and cold. The car sits in front of him, and Nolan can see clearly the driver inside, cans of beer floating around his head, his eyes closed in drunken sleep, weighing them shut. And then both eyes open wide as he picks out the features of the man that almost hit them outside of this theater, slopping and disheveled. Not a mark on him, not so much as a bruise from a can. The thing stands next to Nolan. He can see in the fog shapes of coyotes running in circles around them. What say you to changing that, I can do that for you. Give you that ability. I cannot alter what has come to pass for the others. They're gone now. But I can give them peace. The man says, one arm slung over at the wrist on the pommel of a knife. They had futures. They would have brought joy to their children, taught them, as well as you were taught, to be good, hard-working people who care for others in this world. He turns, pointing sharply to the car. And that ignorant, useless creature gets to exist, offering nothing to the world, while your mother lost a husband and now has to bury her only offspring. She will suffer alone. What do you want? Nolan asks the stranger as his coyotes drag away his friends into the fog. My soul? A black grisly mongrel pulls Angie from the air, carrying her in its maw with all the gentle care as if it were carrying its own pup. Kind of you to offer. However, I want nothing. These poor souls will find the aether and wait for the recompense, which should be carried out by someone who cares for them as deeply as you in life. I will grant you the right to choose the form by which their vengeance is carried out. You should know, Nolan Plenty, that once you choose, you will have no peace except in killing. I can do nothing about that, so choose wisely. Your body will be interned. Your new one shall remain. I can offer you this peace, but once you have taken vengeance for them, you will know nothing of this life, and be only that which you have chosen. The stranger looks down to the pavement for a brief moment, and then back. The smile returns to him. Outstanding. A desolate stretch of old, lost, bygone road through hills and farmland. Loneliness all around it. No one to know the tragedy so recently had come to pass. The tangled bodies of youth, and then the trail of red tire marks still glistening like fallen dew. The air of night silent as the fog leaves no trace of itself as it retreats from what is to transpire, while the headlights shine up the wall of jagged stone only inches from what should have meant death. The cry of coyotes all gone, only the earthly unadulterated brutality in evidence upon the road. What terrible circumstances brought about this moment, as the door of the car is forced open with a metallic groan and wet plops of sound as his feet find the cold mud and water of the ditch. Ugh! Staggering through the wet sludge with disgust before finding a solid foothold in the dim stillness of gray-washed light. The fuzziness of his vision like water pours over a pane of glass. Clears enough for him to see what is the flesh lumps upon the road, destroyed bags of humanity, their constants, their continents, scattered book pages glaring white. The idea of what had transpired eludes him as he does his best to focus through the exhaustion of sleep and drink. One large mass, not a mass, two bodies, separate. One that had not been before, as he assured himself he had enough time to get some wherewithal to have seen it at first glance. The top body shakes as it clings desperately to the other. Thin, gaunt arms seem brittle as if to be snapped by the slightest breeze. It is there he can hear the soft squish of massed flesh as the ghoulish man wrenches a bone free from the thigh of the prone body. Then with a heavy, almost childlike cry, the thin man puts a boot onto the torso with a spider in his fingers, rips a hunk of scalp from what he can see was once a young woman. Holding it to his face, he can hear the thing sob, with blood-clotted hair to its mouth and nose.